Back to the tile. It's early on in the show. Before I forget. So I have the tile in my hand that I rescued from my basement. As I was saying before, it's about an 8 by 12 ceramic tile of flowers and birds. And about 30 years ago, over here where I live, some Iranians were fleeing the radical Islamic terror that Jimmy Carter had unleashed by bringing back Khomeini from exile. And when this Khomeini maniac came back to Iran, he started the entire Islamic mania across the globe. The first people to feel it were the middle-class Iranians, some of whom families have been there thousands of years, meaning for millennia. Now, I tell this story in Scorched Earth. It's my opening story. Conversations with an Iranian antique dealer in Beverly Hills, because it was quite accidental that I spoke about it. And he told me he was forced to flee Iran because he was in prison for 2 years for a high crime. You know what the high crime was? An Iranian Jewish businessman had been killed by the Muslims when they took over. And this man went to retrieve his body to bury it. They said it was a violation of the state laws. They put him in jail for 2 years. So he left Iran, came in with $200 in his pocket, and he's been working every day the rest of his life. He's not a wealthy man. So I asked him in the middle of the conversation, well, how long had your family been in Iran? He looked at me like, what? He said, I don't know, maybe 2,500 years. What was the point of my story? In Scorched Earth, I'm sending you a warning. He didn't think that the day would come that he'd have to flee his own country. Like many of you could never, ever believe in your wildest imagination that this skinny monster in the White House would do the things he has done. Listen to me very carefully. Nothing happens overnight. Revolutions don't occur overnight. The forced exile of a population does not occur overnight. I know that Iranians understand this, and I know that Soviets understand this, but I know most Americans don't understand a word I'm saying. They live in a bubble of stupidity, fat and lazy and happy. All they think about is golf and their cholesterol. That's all that's on their mind, and Viagra. You know, a Viagra and an anti-cholesterol pill and a golf game. That's it. That's the average American white male. A putz. Nothing. No knowledge of the world. Nothing. Zero. So if I said to him or any of these guys, listen to me, you are in the early stages of a cultural revolution. And what happened in that country of Iran could happen to you if you don't stand up. They would think I am crazy. They wouldn't even have the capacity to understand what I said to them. Now, Obama has built the seeds of a militant army in Black Lives Matter. That's why that evil man George Soros gave them $70 million. We are only one step away from an evil administration deputizing these thugs and criminals and weaponizing them. And then you will have the Khmer Rouge that existed in Cambodia and the Red Guard that existed in China. From a house I went, he had almost nothing. He was selling the tiles in Sausalito at a like a garage. What do you call them? A sale out there in the parking lot. I don't know what you call them. What do you call those, Robert? Yeah. Yeah, swap meet. So I used to go to swap meets, and I saw this beautiful tile. How much? $20. So I said, how'd you get this beautiful tile? He had like 20 of them. He said, well, we once lived in a 4-story house in Tehran. I came from a prominent family, but after the radical Muslims took over, we had to flee. And the only things I could take were the tiles off my own house. That's all I have to sell, I swear to God. So I always carried this tile around as a metaphor of what could happen to people, because nobody in America understands this better than the immigrants who have fled radical Islam or fled the ex-Soviet Union. This tile, to me, is a symbol. I have it right here, tapping on